So just wanted to share with you a little bit about Enkindle, kind of broad what we do, and then specifically how we'll be partnering with Marquette in the coming year. So we help parishes invite and accompany families to ongoing conversion. So that looks like a lot of things, and we'll talk more about specifically what that means later. But our goal is really to support and equip parish leaders to do the work that they're already doing and to see more fruit from that work. Just a little bit of background. Scott and I combined have over 50 years of parish ministry experience, and then with the rest of our team, we have over 100 years of parish ministry experience. That seems like a lot, but I bet in the room that you're sitting in, you also have more than 100 years of parish ministry experience. So we learn from each other, but we also share a lot of what we've learned through our own experience in ministry that providentially lines up with everything the research is saying and everything that the church has been saying for a really long time. So everything that we teach comes out of stuff that we've learned often the hard way through the ministry that we've done ourselves. So Scott and I work full time for Enkindle now, but we still volunteer in our parishes. So we still do a lot of family ministry in a very hands-on way. So the reason that we do what we do is that the research and our experience have been really clear. Kids need their parents. Parents are still the greatest spiritual influence in the lives of their own children, for better or for worse, right? And we can't ever replace the role of the parent. So kids can have the best catechists and pastors and youth ministers and teachers and coaches and everyone else in their lives. And if their parents aren't handing on the faith, those kids still have a lesser likelihood of becoming real disciples of Jesus themselves. They need their families to help them grow in faith. They don't just need their families, which is what we'll get to in a minute. So they need their parents in particular. But parents need their parish, and they need more than just the parish to kind of hand them resources or give them activities to do at home. Those can be helpful, but far more than that, and we saw this really with COVID, every parent, no matter where they are on the spectrum of faith, from those who are most committed and really passionate about their faith and who already want their kids to know and love Jesus, to those parents that we see infrequently, who for whatever reason don't have hearts on fire with the love of Jesus yet, every one of those parents and everything in between benefits from a parish community who is really intentional about walking with them in faith and offering them opportunities for conversion. It's actually, if kids need their parents most, parents are the greatest gift to kids. Parishes are the greatest gift to parents and families, right? Because they're a community. They give you encounters with the Lord. They provide the local manifestation of the church. And none of that can happen anywhere but the parish. But we also know that parish leaders need support. We've never met a parish leader who isn't really busy. We've never met a parish leader who doesn't already desire conversion for the families they're working with. We've never met a parish leader who doesn't have a lot of additions to their job title. We meet a lot of parish leaders who are just doing a lot. And so we're here to support parish leaders so that they can help to create a parish culture where parents and kids can encounter the Lord, can experience conversion, and can grow in faith together. So the way that we do that is we offer coaching, content, and community so that parish leaders can invite and accompany more families into lifelong, life-changing faith. And so specifically, what that is going to look like in Marquette and what it frequently looks like when we work with a diocese, it starts with coaching. There's some training in there, but it's, I just want to make it abundantly clear. It's not training like we are the experts and you don't know anything. It's coaching because there's a great spirit of collaboration. And we want you to bring all of your wisdom to the table. We want you to bring all of the experience you have to the table because very frequently the wisdom in the room is incredibly powerful and the Lord works through that. So in April, this coming April, Scott and I will be coming out to Marquette in person to offer some coaching days. And then we'll be doing Zoom follow-ups from there. And what we're going to be talking about is kind of diagnosing the problem. Why is family ministry so difficult? We know it's important, but why is it hard? And how can Jesus actually help us? He shows us the way to make a plan for fruitful family ministry. So that'll be in April, and then Zoom follow-ups from there, where we work with each parish leader more individually to help them make and implement a plan that really works for their parish community, with their resources, with their families in mind. And then there's content. The diocese, for parishes who opt into this partnership, the diocese will be providing a one-year subscription to our parish hub. And that parish hub, I can show you kind of a picture of it here. It is an online source of content, of training. You can interact here, kind of like a Facebook group. It has a community forum where you can post questions or ideas or look for advice, anything like that. Our members are pretty active on there. But the diocese will be purchasing you a one-year subscription, which means everyone who works or volunteers in ministry in your parish has access to the same content. So you guys can make and implement plans together. And so there's content for family mini retreats. I'll get to that in a minute. There is training over here. That is not open. There we go. Training for parish leaders. So you can offer training sessions and workshops with your parish leaders to grow in different skills, but also to be really praying into all of your planning for all of your ministry to families. And everyone can access it together. So you don't have to be the sole keeper of the ideas and the information and the inspiration. And then, of course, the community. I showed you the space on the hub where the community is, but we also offer different webinars and things like that for our Parish Hub subscribers so that you can connect with other ministry leaders actually from all over the world. It's mostly in the U.S., but we have a parish in London and we have a parish in South Africa, so we could say we're global. It's very exciting. But people who, like you, are really committed to making disciples, who really want to reach families in a fruitful way, and who want to learn from one another as the Holy Spirit brings all of us closer to living out the mission of making disciples. And I think a point we really want to stress is that when we work with parishes, we're not asking them or even encouraging them necessarily to do more, to do one more thing, to do one more program. You might end up doing one more thing that you've never offered before, one more event or that sort of thing. But it's actually about doing everything intentionally and really having conversion of families as the goal and the method of Jesus as the plan. And so family ministry isn't the goal in itself. It's where the goal of conversion and discipleship can play out. It's kind of a context within which we can offer opportunities for conversion and growing as disciples. I mentioned that a lot of our content on our Parish Hub is for family mini retreats. They are just what they sound like. They are opportunities that the parish hosts. They can last anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, so they're very mini. And they offer a chance for families to grow closer to one another while they grow closer to the Lord. They're really easy to implement. And you can do 1 a year, you can do 2 a year. Some parishes are now up to running 8 a year, right? Like a once a month thing during the catechetical season. But our goal with coaching is this year we're going to kind of talk about a framework for ministering to families in general, but then helping you make a plan specifically for running your first family mini retreat sometime this upcoming fall, 2026, with Advent as our target goal. We have multiple mini retreats specifically for Advent, and there's a new series coming out soon with even more options. But these are great ways to invite parents and kids to have some fun together, to share some meaningful conversations, to grow in friendship with other families, and to kind of be captivated by the Lord in prayer while they're building community. So that's kind of the very practical thing that parishes in Marquette will feel empowered and hopefully really excited to do toward the end of our work together in 2026. And I just wanted to share just a little testimonial. One of our parishes on the hub is St. Clare's of Assisi in Charleston, South Carolina. And they are a very big parish. They have a lot of families. And they were trying to figure out how the youth minister and the children's minister and the adult ministry coordinator to work together to offer something for families that didn't require an immediate overhaul. They might eventually do a total overhaul, but this was a nice first step, an easy first step to start doing something for families that bore fruit. And so TJ, their children's minister, said that their parish faith formation program made 2 of their Sunday programs into Enkindle family retreats this year. And they were a huge success. And one of the biggest blessings was the amount of positive feedback that they received from dads. And we know statistically that if there are 2 parents in a family, the mom is statistically far and away more likely to be the one kind of leading the charge in faith formation in the home. And so, and that's a nationwide reality. And TJ was just marveling that these dads were really enjoying these mini retreats, the 2 mini retreats, and they kind of came out of compliance because they were supposed to be there, but they left asking when they could do it again. And they have now, TJ has shared, a lot of those dads have now gotten involved in the process actually of hosting the mini retreats. They show up early to help set up. They've offered to save money. They were ordering pizza for food and they said, well, we can grill. It tastes better and it's cheaper and we'd love to do that, right? So now they have a men's grilling team that's part of the ministry. And it's been a great way to build community, but also invite everyone to a deeper relationship with the Lord in a way that doesn't put a tremendous strain on parish resources and parish staff, but bears a lot of fruit for the families that they serve. So that's kind of what we do and what it will look like for Enkindle to partner with Marquette for this year. Scott, what did I miss?
No, I think you did a great job, Kristen. We just would be so excited to we're excited to get out to meet you. We've never been to the Upper Peninsula before, so the just getting out there. I'm so jealous about the snow you guys get. I know you guys probably live with snow all the time and it's not so exciting, but um, I dream of snow and the last 15 years we just get rain in the winter and it makes me so sad. So excited to get out there. And hopefully you have a little bit of winter left in April when we get to see you. But we love to get to see you and meet you in person and get to know you and learn about your parishes and learn about your story and what you have been doing in ministry. So.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Well, at the National Weather Service office in Negaunee, the record is I think 15 feet at this time. And we're currently up to, I think we've got 13 and a half feet of snow so far. So we're almost on record setting pace.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of snow.
It is. All right. Well, thank you. Lynn had a question for you.
Yeah.
Actually, Kristen and Scott. So is this do you want me to ask both questions and then you can respond to or separate questions?
Sure.
Okay, so the first one is this a canned program that we can click and we can, have all these ideas right there? The material would be ready for us, like if we did stations of groups. And then how do you get buy-in to sell it, like the PR type of a thing, because you want to get more families involved. So those are follow-up question with that one.
Excellent questions. Parent buy-in is always our biggest question we get from every parish in every diocese. So I want to show you what you can expect from a mini retreat. To your first question, what do you get? So you pick a theme. This is our kind of master list over here of all the options, but you pick a theme. It'll give you kind of a brief overview there, and then you click the actual link, and that's kind of the landing page for the mini retreat session. So you get an outline. It gives you an overview, all the steps, all the supplies you would need, and then kind of a schedule, like here's what you do, right? Here's how it goes. Here is your opening prayer. Here's an icebreaker. Here's an introduction. Each mini retreat revolves around a story. So the stories are audio recorded if you want to play an audio recording, but there's also a transcript there if someone there wants to tell the story. And we also have no problem if you want to kind of tweak the story to feel a little more personal, right? But you don't have to write the content or the story. It is right there, ready to go. We found that when we learn from Jesus, we do fruitful ministry, and he told a lot of stories, and the brain is actually wired for stories. So it's a great way to captivate audiences of all ages, which is tricky when you're doing family ministry, right? You have little kids and teens and adults. And then there's always a facilitated conversation. I know in my own family, I have 4 kids. Scott is married and he has 5 kids. I'm also married. Scott and I are not married to each other, to be clear. We are each married. I have 4 kids. He has 5. But we found that one of the most fruitful ways that we can help our kids grow in and take ownership of their faith is just to have faith conversations, right? I'm not trying to teach them anything necessarily, even though they might learn something from these conversations. I'm just organically sharing faith. Something that I saw in my 16 years of parish youth ministry, and I still see in my volunteering in youth ministry, and also because I have 3 teenagers now, I see it myself in my own life. It can be really hard to have faith conversations once your kids hit a certain age. So these are facilitated faith conversations where someone from the front, from the parish, is helping families talk about faith. And for a lot of families, we found that this facilitated conversation is the first actual faith conversation that families have ever really had. And it can be really beautiful and really fruitful, and it opens a door for more conversations to happen. So that's always part of every, family mini retreat. And there's usually some kind of activity, whether it's an activity in the front that's sort of like an object lesson activity, or an activity that families do, or some combination of the two, something tactile. We want families to be in their bodies. We want their experience of faith to be incarnational. As Catholics, everything we do is incarnational. Jesus is incarnate. And so we want their experience of even being formed in faith to be that as well. And then an idea for closing prayer and fellowship, always food, always some time together to have fun. So each one of these looks different. This particular one has them making a special family Christmas ornament in a way that will hopefully change the way they decorate for Christmas forevermore, and the way they think about Christmas decorations in general as now like this symbol of Jesus alive and with us, dwelling in our midst, and bringing light to our darkness. So that's what you can expect from the mini retreats. So the outline, the story, some discussion questions, and then also a take-home resource that families can take with them home to continue having conversation starters, some suggested things they can be doing at home, a particular scripture passage. And this one, again, this is an Advent one in particular. It comes with the O antiphons, just a way to pray in unison with the church in this special way, kind of heightened as we get closer to Christmas. So every mini retreat has those components. And if you go to like the content overview, it'll talk about that. Your second question was parent buy-in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Did I answer your first question?
Yes, because this is a lot easier. I've been going on like ChatGPT and AI to come up with my own, to go through the themes and the different grades. So this would be a huge time saver, because you're saying they're tried and true. You've got the activity, the scripture part of it, the story, and you're meeting all different age levels and participation. I like the take home.
Yeah.
So yes, the buy-in, and to get more families buying in. I don't know how you sell this, which I think is that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the hardest part, because part of the problem that we address is the reality that for a lot of families, a lot of parents haven't yet actually experienced conversion themselves, right? And they've been Catholic their whole lives. They've been catechized. They've been sacramentalized. They've done everything they thought they were supposed to do, and it's been sort of an intellectual experience, and very often a sterile one. And so I don't think they've rejected conversion. I think it either hasn't really been offered to them in a way that they felt like they understood that was being offered, or it was offered, but it was offered one time a long time ago, and they feel like they missed that boat, right? So that's part of why I think it's hard to get parent buy-in, and also the very real reality that every parent, no matter where they are on the spectrum of faith, is very busy. So one of the ways to gain parent buy-in is to work on gaining their trust for us, right? To build relationship with them so they start to trust us more. And And we talk a lot about this in our training. When they trust us more, they're willing to let us take them somewhere they haven't been yet spiritually. And so we earn their trust by the way we communicate, by the way we love them, by the way we schedule things, to honor their schedules and their busyness, by the way we listen, and the fact that we say to them, I want to listen, I want to know what you want, I want to know what your struggles are. And we have resources for all of that on our hub and in our coaching, right? Just to kind of establish a deeper relationship between yourselves and the parents. That's huge for parent buy-in. They're often willing to give something a shot if they trust you. So I think that's part of it. But another part of it, I think, is starting small and growing from there. So what a lot of parishes have done is they start with sort of a captive audience, like a sacramental prep cohort, right? So I'm just going to offer a family mini retreat the first time for our first reconciliation kids and their parents, right? And it's part of faith formation, for that sacrament anyway. So it's not anything extra. It's not optional. So they are there because they're required at least the first time. But the way you advertise it is we want to help you have a really meaningful experience with your kids. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, why the family mini retreats work. They're not remedial religious ed. They're not sterile. They're kind of fresh and new, and they're not complicated. And so every parent might not yet be interested in growing in faith explicitly, right? But every parent is interested in spending meaningful time with their kids. So we leverage that, and we start with a community that's already a captive audience. They're going to be there anyway. We have allowed them to experience how this is sort of fresh and new and surprisingly lovely. I hate to say that so many parents say, like, I'm actually really surprised that this was nice. So I don't know what they were expecting, but it wasn't something, as delightful as it is. And so then, and then you keep offering that for those first reconciliation or first communion or confirmation or whatever families, but you encourage them to sort of be evangelists. And you say, we're going to run another retreat like this, but in the spring at Lent, and it'll be open to the whole parish, and we're going to invite everyone. But could you also invite everyone right? Because now you've tasted and you've seen how nice it is and how wonderful it is to have like this really beautiful conversation with your kid that you didn't have to generate out of thin air, and how nice it is to grow in faith together and have this prayer experience and make new friends at church. Could you invite your friends? And so then those families become the evangelists, and they do a lot of the marketing and PR work for you. If you start small and help people to see, and that is part of the method of Jesus as well, right? He started really small, and then those people, once they encountered him, once they had a relationship with him, they not only knew it was possible for everyone else, but they knew they desired that for everyone else. So they went out and they became evangelists. So it allows the families in your parish to become sort of apostolic in that way. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Scott, anything to add to that?
Yeah, and I would also say, and I think you were mentioning this, but just for parents, making it easy to say yes is huge in that offering things that don't put more on their plate, but take things off. So when doing a parish mini retreat if you start with a meal, like a parish meal, and you're feeding them and they're not having to cook or do cleanup, that's already a huge win for them. We're like, well, okay, we got this thing at the church, but we don't have to cook dinner tonight. So that might be getting your foot in the door. Offering childcare to families that have little ones. So while this is going on, they're like, oh yeah, it might have been a great experience in the church, but I was juggling my 1.5-year-old, and I think I missed most of it, or I was standing out in the narthex. So if you have the resource to offer childcare, a couple of things that help them feel seen, that the place that I'm in, that I'm overstretched, and so we're going to just make it as easy as possible for you to say yes to show up to this thing. That's a huge win. So
thank you.
And I think that's it. And to the first point about is it a canned program? There's and Kristen said there's a lot there's an outline and there's things that are easy to follow and you can just follow it as is, but there's also a lot of leeway and a lot of space for your own creativity or your own like judgment of like where are your families or your parish at. And so like it gives a great rubric of how to do it, but it's not it can be and it can be as is, but it's not terribly strict. You can for the story, you can completely, hey, you know what, this made me think of this, and we could tell a similar story instead of like going off of one that we have there on the site. Um, so it kind of fits. If you want it canned, it can fit that. But if you want it to be able to customize it, it also gives a lot of space for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great. Any other questions that come to mind?
Do you have a sacrament one that just teaches the 7 sacraments?
Yeah, so actually that's our new series that's coming out this year. It'll hit in late spring. And so it'll be an 8-part series of mini retreats. So there'll be sort of an introduction overview of the sacraments in general, and then one retreat per sacrament for the year. We also have currently, I should just keep sharing my screen. I don't know why I keep going back and forth. We have mini retreats that are appropriate for each of the sacraments right now. So you'll find that here, again, on the left-hand navigation panel, you can kind of sort them by theme and topic. So, we have them for baptism, we have them for confirmation, we have them for holy orders, Eucharist, reconciliation. Marriage is not yet on there. I guess we're still building that one out. We do have one retreat for marriage, and we're working on, obviously there'll be a second one next year. If you were going to just run one retreat next year to talk about sacraments, I would suggest using what will be the intro kind of overview to kick off the whole sacrament series. But then if you wanted to do more than that, maybe the whole parish is invited to the overview one, and then you invite First Eucharist families for sure to the reconciliation and Eucharist one, but it's open to the whole parish, but this is part of the actual formation process for those who are in sacramental prep this year, right? Or for confirmation prep. We also, in the Archdiocese of Baltimore, where we live, Archbishop Lori just this year has shifted confirmation to age 9. It has historically been done in late middle school or mostly in high school. 9th, 10th, 11th grade has been pretty standard here in Baltimore. So it's a huge shift. And he did it for 2 reasons. One, because of all the research that's sort of shouting at us that the families are the greatest influence in the spiritual lives of kids. And so many parents are not yet themselves really intentional disciples, right? So how do we bring families along during these really important moments in the spiritual lives of their kids? It's easier to do when the kids are younger than when they're in high school. But also, he has said it's harder and harder to live as a disciple today, and the Holy Spirit gives us actual help to do it. So why would I withhold that, knowing that they need it sooner, and knowing that 9-year-olds tend to be a little more docile than maybe 15 or 16-year-olds. So that was his reasoning here in Baltimore. It is a trend we're seeing nationwide, but we wrote a confirmation prep process that is appropriate for kids ages 9 to 14 with a little bit of tweaking, if you're using it for upper elementary school versus middle school. Obviously, those would look a little bit different, but all of that is there. It's a 7-part process for the actual like sacramental prep, immediate preparation for the sacrament in mini retreat form.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, well, thank you very much. I don't know if when you're here we'll be able to get all the way out to the east side with you here, but hope maybe some of these people could come where we might be able to have it, or after going through it, I can work on bringing it to them too. So
Great.
You could offer it over Zoom.
yeah, maybe there's a Zoom connection we could figure out too. We'll talk about how we could best do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn's our Zoom master. She
Always nice to have a Zoom master.
yeah.
So rural, that's why.
Well, thank you very much, Kristen and
Yeah,
Scott.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was so nice to meet you all, and we hope to see you again in April.
Awesome.
Great.
Great. Well, have a wonderful day.
Thanks,
Thank
you
you.
too. See you
God
soon,
bless you
Father
all.
Ryan.
For your time. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.